Welcome to the Ladies' Room, where politics meets women's issues, and we're not here to sugarcoat anything. We're diving headfirst into the stories that matter to women, from Washington power plays to battles over our basic rights. It's bold, it's unapologetic, and yeah, it's going to get messy. Because let's face it, this fight for equality always is. Grab a drink, pull up a chair, and let's get into it. This is the Ladies' Room.
Hello. Welcome to our Sunday edition. I had to cancel on Thursday because Vega Bondia was super busy and my daughter had play practice. So yeah, we're live today, Tony, because I had to skip Thursday. So I wanted to come on and talk about some of the issues we were going to talk about on Thursday. And then there's some other stuff that I really think we need to address right now. So be a short little stream, probably nothing long, but I felt the need to talk about some stuff and we're going to talk about it. So pull up a chair. Let's talk about the main thing, our thumbnail. The main thing I really wanted to talk about on Thursday that I think is just as important, if not more, is the incident in Idaho at the GOP town hall. Now, the woman, apparently no charges had been filed against her. If you are living under a rock and don't know what happened, a woman made, interrupted a town hall meeting. She was not violent. She didn't even stand up. I'll play a short clip of what happened. She was wrestled to the ground and forcibly removed from the town hall because they did not like her interruption. And it went viral, national news. So she did not receive any charges, and there was a huge crowdsourcing fund for her legal fees. I think they probably just want this to go away and not make her a martyr, but I also think it's a bit late for that because this is really showing you where we are in the country right now. So let's just play a short clip of what happened.
Foreign poll, if that is true.
We chose to heckle instead and to shout out things that were true about what the legislators were telling. We were told a couple times
there she
to
is
stop.
being
We did not
forcibly
stop
removed
because we wanted our voices to be heard. We weren't completely disrupting to the point where they couldn't speak.
Tennyson says they wanted their voices heard because she says the KCRCC picks and chooses the questions for the legislators. Regan says otherwise.
We go to audience questions, which are written out on 3x5 cards and then selected randomly and given to the master.
So that we won't play. I just wanted to kind of show you what happened in case you haven't seen a clip and just maybe heard about the story. Hi, Cynthia. So that you can see she was forcibly removed, and there's an iconic photo at this point where there's a sheriff's deputy standing in the background watching these three men. It's a frame of it is the thumbnail for today, but it doesn't capture quite the sheriff's deputy that was right there. So this is a private security firm that was, hired, contracted to, I don't know, act as their brown shirts, who knows, but their contract has been terminated by the town. And part of me, the cynical part of me has to wonder, maybe it's terminated and will be reignited, in a month or so, but yeah, that's pretty bold that, this little town in Idaho needs to hire a private security company for a town hall for a legislator. I don't even think it was a federal let's try that again. Federal legislator. It was a state legislator, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But the whole point is that she was seated, she wasn't a threat, she interrupted the town hall. Yeah, she interrupted, but she wasn't violent. It didn't warrant that response. And that's just a sampling of where we are right now. So across the country, most of you know that there's been a ton of Republican town halls where a Republican representative, state and federal, they have to talk to their constituencies to show they're doing something or pretend like they're doing something. It's very common for representatives on the state, federal, local levels to have these town halls so you can ask questions, make a statement. Well, the one in Georgia in particular that's a very red area of Georgia. It's just northwest of Atlanta, which is a pretty conservative area, and they are pissed. They were not happy with Trump, with Elon, with it all. And that one is probably the most iconic, went national. A lot of those town halls have gone national, and so Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, said, don't have any more town halls. Now, that is wild to me. Not surprising, but it's just wild because that's just going to make it worse for them. So people who typically go to those town halls, they're usually, if we're at a town hall the last month or so, where it went, chances are you're a regular town hall participant. And so you think that that's going to make the situation better. So it might make it better in the short term. It might prevent some viral moments like the Georgia town hall. But I think his name is Mike or Dave McCormick. I think it's Mike McCormick. The last name's McCormick, but he's not my rep, so I don't. There's only so much information I can take, and I mean, we're hit with a fire hose. I mean, I pay attention to information on the daily, and now it's like it's too much even for me. So names I'm never good with to begin with, so forgive me if I mess up somebody's name. Anyway, so that was that. So then a funny story coming out of the Norwegian area. Well, let's backtrack. So I'm sure most of you, if you're listening now live, already know this. If you're tuning in later when this is a recording, you know, Vladimir Zelenskyy and Donald Trump had a meeting. It did not go so good. It was contentious. SNL has a cold open that mimicked it. Hilarious. I would totally play it, but I'll get copyright. This will get taken down because NBC is pretty obnoxious about especially when it comes to SNL like replays. So I'm not, but you can all Google it on the SNL YouTube channel. Hilarious. Oh God. And it's like, it's funny. And what's sad is that even though it's satire, it's true. And like, it just played on what they were actually thinking. Like, just watch it. You'll just have to trust me on that one. So anyway, fantastic episode. But so we had that. So around the world, people are very upset with how Zelenskyy was treated in the United States. I think a lot of Americans are very unhappy with and kind of sickened by how Zelenskyy was treated because the Republicans are trying to rewrite history. Shocker! I know I should have told you all to sit down, but they're trying to rewrite history. Okay, now if you look back, go to Fox News, go to OAN, go to Real American News or whatever the fuck that's called. Go to February of, what was it, 2022 or 2021? When Russia invaded Ukraine. It had to have been 22, right? So, hi, Skip. So, with that said, go back to the conservative bullshit news sites, and you will see that it says these people are talking about Russia invading Ukraine. Everybody know, like, you can only rewrite history so much, and that's not the kind of history you can rewrite. So right now they're looking foolish, trying to say Ukraine was the aggressor. And you can say all you want, like, what did, what did you want Zelensky to do? Like, I think what Trump wanted is, suggesting is that Zelensky just give Putin what he wanted, before they invaded. And then crisis averted. Oh, what a great solution, asshole. So, yeah, the willful ignorance is a feature, not a bug, totally. So, with that said, Norway, not Norway the government, it's important to make that distinction, because it's uh, Norway, the company, a small shipping company in Norway, decided that it did not want to sell fuel to the United States. The U.S. has aircraft carriers and warships and submarines all over the world doing things, doing Navy-like things. So anyway, so there was, our allies will help us refuel because we're allies. We're supposed to be homies and help each other out like that. And I'm sure we obviously pay for it, but so a small company in Norway, was like, we ain't doing that. And I guess Norway, the government was like, oh, let's not do that just yet. But it happened already, so I think it was fantastic. Now, if you go into, if you Google the story in either in obviously Google or go into ChatGPT and, ask a question about this, the sources that they'll give you, there's not a lot of American sources talking about this. Either that or Google's algorithm isn't pushing it, but the most prominent results that you'll get about this story are international news organizations, or Reuters, which is a wire service. AP is talking about, but those are international wire services. They're not exactly, like a newspaper with an op-ed. Although they're certainly important, obviously. Uh, so Norway, the government was like, no, we're not gonna upset anybody just yet, but thanks for trying. So, um, that is, I think, worthy of mention and putting into the ether that you should be paying attention to little things like that. We've pissed off the world, and it's really not necessarily about disrespecting Ukraine and Zelensky. It's more of the ignorance and the willful, just douchebaggery of this whole situation. And I think what's going to upset our allies the most is just the audacity of it. Um, and obviously, they don't want us to disrespect their leaders, but I think we'll start seeing little signs of their displeasure, um, going forward. I think this is also going to take decades to repair, if at all. I mean, think about, even though we're not in let's try that again. World War II, uh, Nazi Germany, uh, Stalin's Russia yet. But at the same time, like, we have to, kind of look at the history of it. And we look at Germany now. If I say Germany, what's the first thing you think of? I mean, even if you love Germany, you're like, if you're an American, that's the first thing you think of. So fast forward 10, 20, 30 years from now, 70 years from now, when we are talked about, what are people going to remember? How long will this stain take, if at all, is rubbed away? And I think that's going to be real telling. And I think to fix a reputation is going to take a lot. It's gonna take a lot, and I mean, nobody's gonna trust us anymore. Tony has a question. I did not see the UK meeting today, but I can imagine that they probably do. I mean, part of the SNL skit from last night that did a parody of the meeting in the Oval Office with Zelensky and little Marco and JD Vance was the despondence of Marco Rubio. And one of the jokes made was he looks like Homer backing into the hedges, that, that gif that you see, like he's just slowly backing in where he disappears. Like that's what he looks like. So, and I think when looking at, I think that it's really sad that we're viewed. I mean, pretend, rewind prior to 2016. You say the United States, sure, there's always been something to criticize. No country is perfect. And we're definitely not even close to perfection. But I would say that we've been trying. And I would say overall, we try to have some goodwill, either just for the sake of goodwill, but also USAID was a small drop in the bucket of money that helped people across the world in poverty and different projects get going, but also kept us safe in reputation. Meaning, if you're getting healthcare from a clinic funded by the United States, are you likely to want to participate in terrorism against the United States? Or we've stuck our fingers in things we shouldn't have. We've caused disruption. But we're just talking in generalities. And, now we're the bad guys. And it's really sad. It really breaks my heart. I was never foolish to think that we were always the good guys. Lord knows as a country, we've done some terrible things, but it's hard to hold your head up when you have such corruption. And I think that's the despondence of international leaders, is if we can't make democracy last, if this is the way we're taking, we're all doomed. And I don't think we're all doomed yet, but I can see how, why foreign leaders, especially our allies, are just like, oh boy, we have a problem. And I just hope we can fix it. Cynthia has a good point. I think they've been cutting him out of a lot of discussions. I've also heard on various podcasts, this might be, I don't think I can verify this, but on various podcasts, they were saying that he has a handler, so he can't even go off script when he goes abroad. So who knows if that's true or not, but it would not shock me if he has somebody to accompany him to make sure he doesn't get out of line. I don't even know why he accepted the job, to be honest. This goes against everything, his entire career. And I know some people don't give a fuck, they just want the position and they'll do whatever. Marco Rubio actually fought for some of these things and was a staunch supporter of USAID projects and building goodwill, soft power, if you want to use a buzzword. It's soft power because if you don't know the buzzword or whatever, it's a little bit of money to build some goodwill around the world to keep people from getting pissed off at us. I have a feeling this dude's a troll, but little Marco needs to be fired, and who's going to replace him? Who's going to replace him? I mean, they all should be fired. Oh, good luck, dude. That's a nice thought, but they don't really give a fuck about their fellow Americans. They care about one thing: billionaires, bombs, and not a whole lot of anything else. They don't care about me. They don't care about you. They don't care about anything except making themselves richer. And you're a fool if you think anything different. So, switching to a different, I wanted to talk about the boycott, which Tony Michaels is absolutely right on this uh, wording of boycott is weak language. So, let me get this up on the screen. So, February 28th there was a bunch of people who grassroots organization that decided to have a economic blackout day. So I was curious to know what happened, what do the numbers show? And I guess it's still a little too early to see how it worked, but let me this is ABC 10 from San Diego. I'm not going to play the video because it's a little on the long side, but this guy has a lot of interesting, and he's one of the leaders of the grassroots group that has been trying to promote economic blackouts. And we need to use better language. Boycotts don't work. Strikes work. Protests work. Blackout, that's kind of I don't know how strong that is, but it's definitely better than boycott. A single blackout does not work. It has to be sustained and continued. And a lot of times it should be targeted to be more effective, but one blackout day isn't going to help anything. It's got to be sustained. And I don't know if we have the attention span to do a blackout, but and it's really just for blackout against corporations, not necessarily not buying anything. It was support small businesses and just try to avoid Amazon, Walmart, the big conglomerates. But a lot of people will say, how do you it's a stupid idea to. I don't think it's necessarily a stupid idea. And let me put this out into the ether. I think if we all make small changes, it adds up to something. So what do I mean by that? Well, you can't get away from not shopping at a store that's owned by a huge multi-hundred of billion-dollar corporation. It's very hard to get rid of not making any purchases from stores like Walmart, Target, Amazon, the whole shebang of them. So my personal belief is I pick the least big of an asshole billionaire, and that's who I'm going with for the everyday things. So I don't do Amazon anymore at all costs. I don't do Amazon Prime. I have Alexa things. I got rid of them. I'm done with Alexa. Only because, you know what I use them for? I use them for turning smart stuff on and off, and that is very convenient. I'll buy an iHome or whatever the hell it is. Oh, Sheila, hi. Statewide protests. Yeah, we need to do something. Anything. Show up at a protest at your state capitol. Sheila, are those at the state capitol or is it more local than that? But, all right, so your state capitol is 3 hours away, you can't get there. Find a way to make your impact. It's very overwhelming right now. It's easy to get overwhelmed and say, there's nothing I can do, so just fuck it, I'm done. I'm just gonna, and I want to do that because I have anxiety and I am concerned about my job. Not that I'm a federal worker, but I'm a librarian, so I work for a municipality, so but you can't sit down. This is not the time that we sit down because we have to. It'll be too late if we wait. It's too late, and we have to do something. So you know what? If you can't go to a protest, make a personal pact with yourself that you pick your asshole billionaire to give your money to. For me, it's the Waltons, and you cut everybody else out. Yeah. So I try to actually do Aldi. I believe they're a German company. So I'm sure they're worth, I don't know if they're a billion-dollar corporation, but probably because I think they have several brands like Trader Joe's and that other German store that's been popping up. But we we need to do something. So try to find where you can, try to do what you can where you can with whatever skill set you have, with the circle of influence you have. You're only one person. I'm only one person. We're all only one person. But if we each do something small, it will matter. I mean, look at movements, social movements in the past. We have to do something because there's too much at stake. We cannot sit down, and government's not going to save us. The Democrats are not going to save us. They're deer caught in headlights, which my next thing of calling your representative. Do not let up on calling your representative. I call mine at least once a week to let him know how much I don't dislike something. Don't be rude. Don't be a dick. Be respectful. But you can make your displeasure known without being hateful or getting yourself on the FBI watch list, because now that they have a new director, it's probably easier than ever to get on that list. So, um, and if you have a Democratic leader, call them to do something. There was a Democrat that said, we hear you, you don't need to call us. No, you don't hear us because you need to do something. You cannot wait till the midterms. You cannot wait till next month. You need to do something now. And yes, they do not have any control of government at the federal level. But you know what they do have? The ability is to slow shit down and make it hard. And I don't understand why they can't make stuff hard. They're operating like this is normal times. We're not in normal times. We're not in 2015 and sooner. We're in some weird times, and you cannot worry about decorum. You cannot worry about like, well, what if the Republicans do that? Blah, blah. You have to think moment to moment, day by day. You cannot be thinking what the Republicans are going to do in the midterms or 4 years. You got to look at it right now. Right now, Democrats need to any way they can. And yeah, they may not win the day, but they can slow shit down and they can make each win for the GOP very painful. And I don't understand why they don't. Here's another thing that's been pissing me off. Okay, so Democrats, federal, state, even local levels, okay, they know they're bad at messaging, right? There are lots and lots of Democrats, particularly at the federal level, who have millions, they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, okay? Hear me out on this. You mean to tell me that there aren't like 3 to 10 of them that can't pool their money together and hire the biggest PR firm in the country, the world, whoever, the most best, bright, to figure out how they can message to people to win the day? Like, you need help. And you're all trying to do your own stupid thing that isn't going anywhere. Yeah, go hire a PR firm. Go hire some psychologists. You need help. And I'm sure it costs a lot of money. And I'm sure that like that's not something you can put on your legislative credit card or whatever. I'm sure. But if you're scared, if you're too scared to like take a stand, get the fuck out of office and let somebody else come in. Because I understand you're scared. I understand you have kids. I have a kid too. And I'm probably saying more than those assholes in Congress are. So, and you need to pressure your representatives, whether it's at the federal, local, state, whatever level, you need to pressure them to do something. Anything. Make it hard for them. Because people's lives are at risk. And I get that there's death threats of people. You knew this when you ran. You knew when you ran in 2024, there was a possibility that you could get elected and so could Trump. So what are you doing? You knew that if Trump got elected and you got elected, you'd likely piss some people off. You'd have death threats. Your family could be in danger. I'm sorry that's the case, but you need to do something. And if you're not willing to stand up and do something, get out of the way for somebody else to do it. You know, I'm really frustrated, and I guess this is the mighty librarian's rant, so just bear with me. You know what's been pissing me off? Jerry Connolly, he is a great fighter. Let me preface this. He is a great fighter for the average Joe American. But he has esophageal cancer, stage 4. I believe it's terminal. He's 79 years old. And they wanted to give Hitt the ranking member position in the oversight committee because it was his turn. My dude, you need to you should have let AOC have that. She's a better communicator than you. She can reach a lot more people at a more visceral level. Dude, go take care of yourself. Like, go take care of yourself. Like, you know, and the Democrats that insisted on putting him there is just mind-boggling, because we're not in a time where you can have the mindset of, well, he's been waiting to be the ranking member. If he's not the best person for the job right now, then too bad he doesn't get his turn. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Cynthia, to hear that about. I had no idea that's how he passed away. But you know, so if you're serious about taking, you got to let the Democrats that are actual really good fighters and communicators. You cannot have the mindset. And we cannot let our representatives have the mindset of business as usual. This is not normal. We're not in normal times. We're not in 2008 or 2014. We need people to take a stand and, you know, not do the same old stupid shit they've been doing that's ineffective. Like, come on. I refuse to believe that a few of y'all can't take one for the team and pay for some big PR marketing firm to help y'all out with messaging and, you know, hitting these people where people will pay attention and where the average person can be you know, read this kind of stuff or listen to it. You know, they're trying to go on like the mainstream media channels, and yes, that's important, but the people that you need to reach are not watching MSNBC or CNN or even NBC, CBS. They're not watching. They're not waiting with bated breath to watch Fareed Zakaria, although I do love his show, or I loved it. I don't have anything to do with CNN anymore, no matter who the person is, the anchor is, or journalist, but I digress. But, you know, nobody is waiting for Wolf Blitzer to, you know, like, you got to go where the people are. And Democrats do not know where the people are. They think the people are waiting for them on a Sunday morning mainstream cable show, and that's not the case. So that was my very long, ranty way of saying, get on your Congress people to do something, anything, because people's lives are at stake, and livelihoods, and so yeah. So one other thing I wanted to talk to before we go out, I want, and if you want to put some comments to let me know what you think. I have a theory that I have nothing to back it up, but I just have this theory, and I want to know if I'm way off base here. So let me tell you my theory. So I, like most center left leaning people, thought that, you know, when we saw how Elon Musk and how he was acting around Trump, like, and people were calling him the president, and, you know, that Time magazine article came out that would be the end of him and Trump would kick him out. And so far, Trump hasn't kicked him out, but he should have, because his habit is that if anybody outshines him, they're gone. But he allows Musk. he allows Musk to stay in. So I have this very broad, I guess call it a conspiracy theory, but I don't. I have a feeling that Elon's actually really is the shadow president. And I don't just think that Elon bought his way into the shadow presidency. I think that like he's like almost like a handler of Trump. Because, and the reason why I say this is Trump is acting just weird. Like he's out of character. And when he's this out of character, there's something up. Why hasn't he gotten rid of Elon? He should have. If it was anybody else, he would have gotten rid of them by now. But he hasn't. Why? And, you know, and I think it's more than just he paid, he gave him money. I think it's because lots of people have given Trump money. And I just, I think it's way bigger, way, um, I don't think it's even like we could even think of why this is the case. But I really think Elon's our shadow president. Um, and maybe it was an agreement because I mean, think about it this way. Okay, let's say Elon says to Trump in 2023, "Hey, I will get you everything you need to win so you don't go to jail. But I'm the I'm the decider. And you can take credit for the wins. I'll take, the heat shield taking a lot, Elon doesn't care if the public hates him. He's in his own little ketamine K-hole of, I don't know. But, I really think that deal was brokered. Trump gets what he wants. Elon gets what he wants. And if that deal is ever found out, well, I don't know if that's illegal. I don't know if that's legal or not. It's probably some sort of like quid pro. It's probably illegal. I don't know what the law they would be breaking is, but think about it. If Trump can't get rid of Elon because then Elon can easily say, you know, embarrass Trump irreparably. So I don't. That's just my conspiracy theory. I have nothing to back it up. That's my disclaimer. I have no idea if it's true, but it's just odd. It's very odd behavior. I can't be the only one who thinks it's a little odd that Trump hasn't gotten rid of that Looney Tune by now. Tony. Kofifi, yeah. Yeah, I miss those days when it was just Kofifi. Oh, yeah, that's true. I really didn't know anything about this Yarvin guy until very recently. And I think we all should pay a little more attention to him because he's a pretty dark character. Yeah, they they have flooded the zone definitely. And I think that's the point. Like that's the whole point of flooding the zone. But there's still a pattern. Like Trump still has a pattern of, you know, um, letting the leopards eat. Like look at Nikki Haley or Vivek or any of those fools. He got them to endorse him. He promised them stuff, and then as soon as he's elected, he calls Nikki Haley Bird Brain Nikki or whatever his nickname for her is, and then he decides to get rid of Vivek. So like he's pretty predictable. And even now, even though they're flooding the zone, there's still the same patterns. So, but with Elon and Trump, that's a true wild card. So, oh yeah, uh, Yeah, I'm sure he's like a huge proponent of eugenics, and if you don't fall within the criteria of what genes are okay or not, yeah, you're turned into biofuel or soap or whatever twisted shit that you can do with a corpse. Um, like maybe it's just I have no concept of having that much money, but like, or they must be really miserable people. Because think about this. If you gave me just $1 billion, I would be the happiest person in the world. I would be doing everything that I've ever wanted to do. And I would have a lovely little home and I'd do the things I wanted. And I would, you know, be with my family all the time. I wouldn't have to work. Like, and these people have tens, 20s, hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're still not happy. Like, they still want more. Like, how is there, like, why? There's no difference between 10 billion and having 20 billion. They're both a lot of money. Like, that is just wild to me. Like, how you could, like, there's no difference. That one guy, he's not a billionaire. Shoot. He was on MSNBC. He had a viral moment on MSNBC, but it was basically like, if billionaires and corporations aren't careful, they might fuel a revolution where people literally eat the rich because they can't afford to eat anything else. And um, gosh, what was his name? He's bald. I wish I was better with names. You know what I need? I need somebody. My daughter joined podcast club at school, so I need her to learn some things so she can do stuff for me. But so but anyway, I don't understand. Like maybe just because I've never had that kind of money, or maybe you need to go to like billionaire school to learn how to be an asshole. I don't know, but it's just, like why is it that most billionaires these days seem to want to just wake up in the morning and see how bad can I fuck the average person over? I know. Let's take away their health care. Let's go get a lobbying group to get Congress to do that. Like, it is just wild to me. And I don't know. Yeah, and I really think you need to try to participate in these economic blackouts and strikes. Call it what you want. Don't call it a boycott. Sounds stupid. But why did the civil rights boycotts in the 60s work? They were organized, they were sustained, and it really wasn't even the economic impact of their boycotts. The social pressure of people seeing, because at that point now, television, people are now seeing the awful racism of cops taking fire hoses to these peaceful protesters. We're going to have to, you know, we have to have an impact. It has to be organized, succinct, coordinated, and that's why also the Democrats need to get their shit together, because they need to take cues from the public. To you know, we need to get our shit together. And it's just, I just don't understand how the more things change, the more things stay the same, and sometimes revert back to just, I don't even know. Yeah. Um, but and I get it's like trying to say I'm only going to buy American, which is impossible because so much is, I like, this was like 20 some odd years ago. I wanted to see if I could, if it, because I don't know why that was a big thing, but try to only buy American. I'm just like, I don't think that's possible. Let me see if I can. And I didn't last a day because literally, if you look at everything you buy for just one day, you will see how little is actually made here. So I think you've got to be realistic in these blackouts too, like supporting a small business. And a lot of people are like, well, what's considered a small business? The Department of Labor, Labor considers a small business less than $25 million worth of total revenue. So that could mean a lot of different things. When you think of like a conglomerate like Walmart, I don't know how much they profit, but I think it's something like $100 billion a year in revenue they generate. I don't know what their profitability is, but they generate hundreds of billions of dollars of revenue. Profit is different, obviously. But, I encourage you to think of ways to, pick the one billionaire asshole and stick with that one. If you like to get your I'm not going to say make your coffee at home, but you know what? You don't have to get it at Starbucks. I bet you there's a gas station chain that probably is less than 25 million. Most gas stations, a lot of gas stations are, even if it says Shell or BP, it's not necessarily owned by BP. It's just it's marketed, licensed. That's what I mean. Licensed uh, from BP. And sometimes the gasoline isn't even BP. It's like from somewhere else, a no-name company. And um, so a lot of times these gas stations are independently owned and operated. Gas stations make no money off of gasoline. I worked at a gas station for like 3 years of my college career, so I know a lot about gas stations. Gas stations make no money off of off of gas. They make like maybe 4 cents a gallon. Most of it goes to the product itself and taxes. Um, so why I bring this up? When be mindful of where you get your gas from. If a lot of gas stations, like if you're in down south, QT, Circle K, those make really good coffee. Like, believe it or not, and they have like really cool grind and brew, and they have all these different creamer machines. And so don't go to Starbucks. They treat their employees horribly and try to union bust. Get it somewhere else, or maybe there's a mom and pop chain that is right next door. Try to just find the little things. And if we all do something little, then, it'll add up. And yeah. Yeah, MAGA does think WWE is on my Substack. I wrote a story comparing WWE and MAGA. And why MAGA is so appealing is because it's very similar. There's a lot of similarities between MAGA and WWE and the allure of both. So let me get some of the grifty things that, I don't make any money. So, but let me get some of if you are curious about how you can find more of my work, hold on. This is why I need my daughter to get going on learning how to do this stuff. So, because I'm not smooth at all. So if you're looking for more of my work in the Library of Democracy, this is my link tree. All of these are in the description below. My socials. This is somebody put together a Project 2025 tracker of everything that was said in Project 2025 and how they've accomplished that. I'll click on a link in just a second. Here's ways that you can find out who is your representative. This is a really important Instagram live that AOC did that is basically why you should call your Congress people. So make sure you take a look at that. The 3.5% rule, this is important too. And this is why I say if we all do something small, we can have big results. This woman, Erica Chenoweth, she studies nonviolent resistance movements. And nonviolent resistance is 2 times more likely to succeed than violent resistance movements. And all it takes for significant change is a threshold of 3.5%. of the population, and it's never failed that if a movement reaches 3.5% of the population, it will succeed. So here's more information about this. General Strike US is a grassroots group that has a lot of content on small changes with big results, and they follow the 3.5% rule too. Check out our more of our YouTube channel, videos from the Library of Democracy, and subscribe to the Ladies Room. If you could all hit the subscribe and like and share button right now, if you have a chance, I would love you so much forever on it. And ways you can support. We're not monetized on YouTube, but if you go to bookshop.org, it is a great alternative to Amazon. The prices are comparative, and if you go to my affiliate link, you help support the channel. I get a small commission at no cost to you. And I've found that a lot of their pricing is very comparable to, and sometimes less expensive than Amazon. So I highly encourage you, if you're looking for ways to not support Amazon, bookshop.org. And if you could use my affiliate link, I would be so grateful. Other ways you can support is become a paid supporter of my Substack. Most of it is free. You get a few extra perks if you're a paid contributor, but most of the content is not paywalled. If you're a paid contributor, you also get access to my research databases that I've spent years making, and stuff like that. You can buy the channel a coffee, and I think it's like you can buy like 2 coffees and it's like $10, something like. It's really cute and clever. And then subscribe to our email updates, and of course, because Tony Michaels supports this channel, we support him. Check out his YouTube and Linktree of all the good stuff that he is doing. One last thing before we head out, and I can't believe it's been an hour. I didn't even mean to talk this long, but here we are at almost an hour. This is the Project 2025 tracker that I mentioned. That the link is in my Linktree. So I don't really know who put this together, but it must have been painstaking of what they getting all of this written down. But basically, so they pick an initiative of what Project 2025 says. So like USAID they've completed all of their goals. And so if you click on that, we'll just use USAID. They show you exactly where they have all their sources, the page of Project 2025, the book, where you can see it, where it says it in there. Like, this must have been painstaking research. And then they link why it, like if they said something was completed, they linked the source of why they rated it as completed. So it's painstaking research. Support them too. But like I said, I don't know who, but it's beautiful work. So if you're not to be too much of a doomsday scroller, but for me, when I feel like just giving up, I look at things like this and I was like, no, we have to do something. They're really going fast against education now, and a lot of their big things are already completed. So they're 41% done with getting rid of the Department of Education, which would be just a tragedy. So we gotta do something. I'm trying to get this off of. There we go. So with that said, I think that is it for today. Y'all like this time better, or should we switch from Thursdays, or will you be glad to hear from us on Thursday? Let me try that again. Do you guys prefer Thursdays at 8, or is it, because I noticed a lot more people tuned in to this live on this time slot. So if this is a better time slot for people to watch, then so be it. I am amenable to change. So let us know in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and listen to me rant. We will, unless I hear otherwise, we will be back on Thursday at 8 live. So come check us out. Like, share, subscribe this episode so it helps with the algorithm. I'm really shocked on how much it actually does. The engagement with liking and sharing. So, you know, that's a really great way to help us out too in supporting the channel and the work that we do here. So thank you so much for tuning in and your support. And I will be back on Thursday. Okay, have a great day, guys. Bye.